Let me ask you something. You had a plan, a real one. Maybe it was starting that business, sending that pitch email, booking that solo trip, having that hard conversation, making that move, and you didn't do it. Not because you forgot, not because you ran out of time, but because something inside you just stopped. You went quiet. You found something else to do. You told yourself, I'll do it tomorrow. And tomorrow showed up. And you did the same thing again. Here's what I need you to hear right now. And I mean really hear it. That is not laziness. That is not weakness. That is not a character flaw. That is your brain doing exactly what it was built to do. And today we're going to break that down, chapter by chapter, until you understand not just why you freeze, but exactly how to move anyway. Stay with me, because what I'm about to show you changed everything for me. Here's the thing nobody tells you about fear. Fear doesn't show up looking like fear. It doesn't knock on your door and say, hey, I'm here to stop you. It shows up looking like logic. It sounds like, now isn't the right time. It sounds like, I need to do more research first. It sounds like, what if I embarrass myself? What if it doesn't work out? What if people judge me? That inner voice sounds so reasonable, so responsible, so smart. But it's not logic, it's your nervous system running a protection program. And until you understand that, you will keep mistaking survival instinct for wisdom and stay stuck. What if the fear you've been trying to fight isn't your enemy? What if the thing that's been holding you back is also the thing that can set you free? Once you know how to use it, keep watching, because we're going to get into the actual science of what's happening in your brain and 4 frameworks you can use starting today to move through fear instead of around it. Chapter 1. Fear is not a flaw. It's a feature. You are not broken. There's a stat that stopped me cold when I first read it. According to research from the American Psychological Association, over 85% of people report that fear of failure is one of the primary reasons they don't pursue their goals. Over 85%. That means the person sitting next to you, the friend you think has it all together, the person you're comparing yourself to online, almost all of them feel this. Almost all of them have an idea they haven't launched, a move they haven't made, a version of themselves they keep putting off. You're not alone in this. You never were. And I want to share something personal here. A few years ago, I had an idea I believed in. I'd been thinking about it for months. I had the notes, the rough plan, the conversations with people I trusted, and they said, do it. But every time I sat down to actually start, something in me went cold. I'd open my laptop and find 17 other things to do. I'd reorganize my notes instead of acting on them. I'd tell myself I needed to be more ready. I kept waiting for the fear to go away before I moved. It never went away. And I almost let that feeling take the whole thing from me. That experience taught me the most important lesson I know. Fear doesn't leave before you act. It leaves because you acted. Chapter 2. Meet your amygdala, the alarm that never sleeps. Let's get into the science, because understanding this changed everything for me. Deep inside your brain, there's a small almond-shaped region called the amygdala. Think of it as your brain's alarm system, your personal smoke detector, and it has one job: keep you alive. The amygdala doesn't know the difference between a lion chasing you and your boss's email. It doesn't distinguish between physical danger and social embarrassment. To the amygdala, rejection is a threat. Failure is a threat. The unknown is a threat. Trying something new and potentially looking stupid is processed as danger. So when you decide to start that business, send that message. Take that risk. Your amygdala fires. It floods your body with cortisol and adrenaline. Your heart rate goes up. Your palms sweat. Your mind starts generating worst-case scenarios at full speed. And your body, on your brilliant, protective, loving body, says, don't go out there. Stay safe. Stay small. Stay here where nothing bad can happen. That's not failure. That's evolution. The problem is, we're not running from lions anymore. We're running from opportunity. And that ancient alarm system, the one that kept your ancestors alive, is now the same system that keeps you from starting the business, making the move, building the life. As Daniel Kahneman writes in Thinking Fast and Slow, the brain is wired to weight losses far more heavily than gains. The pain of losing is psychologically about twice as powerful as the pleasure of winning. Your brain is running a survival algorithm, and that algorithm says, the risk of trying outweighs the reward. Chapter 3. The cost of playing it safe. I need you to sit with this for a second. Every time you don't take the action, every time you let fear make the decision for you, there's a cost. Not a dramatic, visible cost, a quiet one. The kind that accumulates over months and years until you look up and realize you've been living 10% of the life you actually want. The person who doesn't send the email loses the opportunity. The person who doesn't start the business stays at the job they hate. The person who doesn't take the trip never gets the memories. The person who doesn't say the thing stays in the version of the relationship that's slowly suffocating them. Playing it safe feels like nothing. It feels like just another Tuesday. But playing it safe is a choice. And that choice has a price. You just pay it in slow motion. Mark Twain said it simply. 20 years from now, you will be more disappointed by the things you didn't do than by the ones you did. That's not motivation. That's math. Chapter 4. 4 frameworks to move through fear. Now, here's what you actually do. Not theory, not inspiration. Frameworks. Real, practical tools you can use the next time your brain tries to keep you frozen. Framework 1. Fear. Setting. Tim Ferriss. Most people do something called goal setting. They focus on what they want. Tim Ferriss, in his book, Tools of Titans, introduces the opposite approach. Fear setting. Here's how it works. Take a piece of paper. Draw 3 columns. Column 1. Write down everything that could go wrong if you take the action. Get specific. Worst case scenarios. All of them. Column 2. For each fear, write down what you could do to prevent it, or at least reduce the likelihood. Column 3. If the worst did happen, what would you do to recover? How long would it take to get back to where you are right now? When you write it out, something shifts. You realize your worst-case scenario is survivable. You realize you've already survived things this hard. You realize the fear in your head is 10 times bigger than the actual risk on paper. The fear doesn't disappear, but it gets smaller, and you get to see it clearly for the first time. Framework 2. The 5-second rule. Mel Robbins. This one is almost offensively simple, and it works. Mel Robbins discovered that when you have an impulse to act, to make the call, to send the message, to take the first step, your brain will begin to talk you out of it within 5 seconds. Every time. That's how fast your protective instincts kick in. So, the rule is this. The moment you feel the instinct to act, count backwards. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go, that's it. You don't wait for motivation. You don't wait for the fear to pass. You count down like a rocket launch, and you move before your brain has time to build the case against you. The counting interrupts the thought spiral. It shifts you from your emotional brain into your prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain that handles rational action, and the physical movement breaks the pattern. You don't have to feel ready. You just have to move. Framework 3. Regulate your nervous system. First, this is the one people sleep on, and it's the most powerful. If your nervous system is in full alarm mode, no amount of motivation or willpower will move you. You can't think your way out of a body that feels unsafe. You have to settle the nervous system first. Here's what actually works. Before you take the action you're afraid of, spend 2 minutes doing box breathing. This is not wellness content. This is neuroscience. Box breathing activates your parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest system, which literally tells your amygdala, we are not in danger. Your cortisol drops, your heart rate slows, and suddenly, the action that felt impossible feels just slightly more possible. You're not eliminating fear. You're creating enough calm to act alongside it. Framework 4. The 2mm shift. Here is the lie your brain tells you. If I'm going to do this, I need to be fully ready. I need to do it right. I need to do it big. That's perfectionism dressed up as standards, and it will keep you frozen indefinitely. The antidote is what I call the 2mm shift. You don't need to take the big leap today. You just need to move 2mm in the right direction. Not write the whole business plan. Write 1 paragraph. Not make the full commitment. Send 1 email. Not have the whole conversation. Say the first sentence. Action creates momentum. Momentum builds confidence. Confidence makes the next action easier. But none of it starts until you take the smallest possible first step. As James Clear writes in Atomic Habits, you don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. And a system starts with 1 tiny action, repeated. 2mm today. That's all. Chapter 5. The mindset shift. Here's the thing I want to leave you with. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is being afraid and going anyway. The bravest people you admire, they feel it too. Every single one of them. The difference is they stopped waiting for the fear to disappear before they moved. You are not going to feel ready. Ready is a myth. Ready is what we call the feeling of having already done the thing enough times that it stopped being scary. And the only way to get there is through. Your brain is not your enemy. It loves you. It has been trying to protect you your whole life. But you are not a child anymore. And the world you live in doesn't require you to stay small to survive. It requires you to grow. The question is not, what if it goes wrong? The question is, what is it costing me to not try? Answer that honestly, and let that answer move you. If this hits something real in you, if some part of you recognized yourself in what we talked about today, then I need you to do something right now, not tomorrow, right now. Identify the one thing you've been putting off, the one action you've been afraid to take. And using Framework 4, the 2mm shift, write down the smallest possible first step you could take in the next 24 hours. Just 1 step, 2mm. Then drop it in the comments. Tell the Untrapped community what you're moving toward, because saying it out loud, even in a comment, makes it real. And if you're new here, welcome. This channel is called Untrapped because that's what we're building together. A way out of the mental patterns, the fear loops, the invisible cages we build around ourselves. Subscribe, hit the notification bell, because every week we go deeper. You're not stuck. You're just not moving yet. Let's change that.